So we're at Manic today to colour ring and to metal ring the baby kestrels from the quarry. It's exactly the same as we did last year, so it's really great to have a second year to look at population of the nest to see how mum and dad are working with the young. And the reason that we do bird ringing, and so we can see how many young birds are going to be born in each nest, how far birds are moving through the power of bird ringing, which is a really nice non-invasive method of tracking birds. So you're putting something that's equivalent of weight to like a bracelet. So it doesn't hurt the bird, it doesn't really harm the bird, it gives them a unique identifier, and then we can see how far they're travelling. I've been doing it now for nearly 10 years, so I've ringed nearly 100 different species of bird I think at this part, but kestrels are still absolutely the best bird that I have ever ringed, and I'm really excited that we have colour rings on the birds this year. So this is a colour ringing project that's been run by the Irish Midlands Ringing Group, and we are going to be ringing kestrels all across the island and putting colour rings on them, and hopefully from that we're going to be able to look at juvenile dispersal and how far the young are moving from nest to wherever they're sighted. So I would actually put a call out to all of the amazing people who over the past 4 years have given me kestrel sightings and information and photographs, and the twitchers and the birders and the ecologists and absolutely everybody that was reporting kestrel sightings to get out and start reporting the colouring kestrels, because you're going to start seeing a lot more of them hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years, and we're going to be able to build up a really good picture of what our Irish kestrels are actually doing. So this nest camera is fully licensed by National Parks and Wildlife Service as well, so we followed all of the right protocol to be allowed to actually have a camera in there to live stream that camera and to share those pictures and video. This is a kestrel is a fully protected bird, it's a bird of prey. It's now a red listed species in Ireland, so it's even more protected than it was before. So yeah, we wouldn't be allowed to put a camera in there without all of the appropriate licensing. This is a bird that doesn't build its own nest, so they seek out a cavity. So traditionally they would have been nesting in like old woodpecker holes in trees. So if you think of really old oak trees that would have been quite gnarly and had those natural cavities, those are the places that kestrels like to nest. And unfortunately we have a lot of agricultural intensification. We have lost a lot of our old forests, our ancient forests. We've lost those kind of trees that have those kind of natural cavities. So the best option for a kestrel is to seek out a different cavity, and quarries tend to have man-made cavities, and so old blasting walls, for example, are going to have these cavities that have been created through like disturbance in the rock and through the blasting, things like that. So quarries have now ended up becoming a preferred habitat, or an important habitat for not only kestrels but peregrine falcons and ravens and all of these birds that naturally would have used that kind of nesting habitat to move into and then start nesting here. And Manic just seems to have had a perfect cavity for this pair. I think this is their 5th year back here, or at least their 5th year back here. So yeah, it's a pair that clearly have had success over the past couple of years and will return again and again to this cavity. Well, so the birds are 11 days old today, which is crazy. I can't believe that they're 11. I feel like I've been just watching them explode in size over the past couple of days. So over the next week or so, I would expect to see mum spending more time out of the nest. So she won't be spending as much time breeding them, because I don't know if you've watched it recently, but she's quite small compared to the 4 young or the 3 young that are underneath her at the moment. They're huge in comparison, so she's trying to brood on top of them. She actually really can't do it anymore. So as they get to about 15 days old, they're going to be able to thermoregulate themselves, which basically means they don't need to be brooded by mum anymore. So mum is keeping them warm until their feathers are growing through. By about 15 days, they're starting to get a lot of their adult feathers coming through already, which means that they don't need mum to brood them as much, so they can actually brood with each other. So you'll see them huddling up together quite a bit. They're going to start feeding themselves. I think that's going to be the really exciting next thing that's happening, because so dad is delivering food and mum is picking up food and they're bringing it in, and then mum is provisioning them. So she's ripping apart any of the larger prey items to feed to them. But we're going to start seeing from about 15 days that they're going to be able to eat those smaller prey items themselves. So there might be a little bit of competition, a bit of sibling competition between them for different food that mum and dad are bringing in. And then just as they're getting older and older, from about 25 days old, we're going to see them maybe exploring the entrance to the nest a little bit more and getting ready to fledge, which is when they spread their wings and take their first flights. And I was definitely a bit emotional last year when I was watching the camera and I saw them take their first flights, because we had 2 that went in quick succession, and number 3 was just behind for a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see. These guys seem like they're a bit more confident, so it'll be good to see how they're going to fledge this year. And then after they've fledged, not all's lost. They will be popping back into the nest for the next couple of weeks after that. So I would expect to see them sporadically towards the end of June through July. They should be popping back in and out, and then they'll be off for the winter and to see where they go. But this is what the colour ringing is going to be really great for, because hopefully we're going to be able to track them a little bit if people have spotted them in the surrounding area, or see them over the winter, just to see what's going on with them and how far they've got. So that's going to be the best part. So yeah, that's the next couple of weeks on Kestrel Cam. Exciting stuff.